Hey everybody, Raymond here. Another Thursday video, a little bit for everybody, and then we're gonna go on and do a member show right after. Here's how to join.
To see Raymond's weekly show for members in its entirety, click the join button below. If you don't see a join button, there's a link in the description. Then you'll see all of the member exclusive content in the community tab.
And we're back. Today's practice session for me, I'm working my way through these different video types, reviews, stream of consciousness, more vlog style videos, and today an interview. And I want to interview strange and weird people. So to get ready for that, I'm interviewing Leigh, SnapChick herself. In fact, she's over to my left there on a separate camera. We'll bring her into the frame here. And I want to practice answering questions, listening to the responses, and reacting appropriately as part of what I'm trying to do here on YouTube. And she was a willing participant, and I truly appreciate that. And are you ready, Leigh?
I'm ready.
Right,
I feel like I'm
get right into it here, and I'm going to start out. We're not starting out with easy softball questions. I'm getting right into it here. Recently, you've been producing videos about the Nikon Z7, working your way towards a real review by actually doing lots of different types of photography and showing people what you're doing in advance of that review instead of a day one review when, that people do when they don't usually have a lot of experience with the camera. Now, your last review before working on this Nikon Z7 review was the Leica SL full frame, mirrorless, interchangeable lens camera. The question is simple. Leica SL versus Nikon Z7. Go.
Ooh. This is a tough one because I absolutely fell in love with the Leica SL. But since I've had the Z7, I have also fallen in love with it for its utility. So if we're just going to quickly compare and contrast them, they both take pictures. They both take great pictures. You can get wonderful photos, epic photos with either of them. You can do video with either of them. I did take great photos, if I do say so myself, and I did take video with both of them. So the bottom line is that they're both tools that get the job done. However, I would say that the SL, it initially really kind of lit something in me to want to take it out and create with it. And there was just something about it, something about how the body doesn't have any labels on it. I know that sounds silly, but it was just a tool that I truly enjoyed using, and I really appreciated and could feel the intention that went into the design of the camera itself and the lens itself and how wonderfully indestructible they felt. Now, that being said, I have really loved using the Z7. It's lighter, it's littler, it's easier to put into my bag. I carried it around yesterday all day long while I was running errands in a bag, and I almost didn't know I had it because it is so much smaller than all of my other gear. So I'm not sure if that really answered your question, but the bottom line is that they both will take great photos. I would say that the Leica SL and the 24 to 90 millimeter f2.8 to f4 lens that I used, seriously well built, seriously indestructible. The Z7 and the Raymond just tried to throw my speed light onto the ground. The Z7 is well weather sealed. Well, that just made me completely lose my train of thought. But anyway, both cameras are great. They're just different tools, and it's totally personal preference. I couldn't say that either of them could do anything that the other one couldn't.
Thank you. Thank you. Would you, they're both sitting on the shelf in front of you, and they're not. You've got the Z7 in here, you don't have the SL in here. If they're both sitting on the shelf in front of you, which one would you pick up to go out and take pictures?
Shoot.
Or would it just depend on the day? It's a perfectly reasonable answer to say, one day I might pick up the SL, the other day I might pick up the S7, depending on my mood or just other circumstances.
I have an answer. Okay. I would say that, yeah, it would depend on the day and it would depend on my subject. I haven't played enough with the Z7 to know how it handles this one thing that the Leica SL and the 24 to 90 millimeter lens that I used handled so incredibly well, and that is light sources. I could not believe how beautifully the Leica gear rendered the light sources. So everything from a sunset and how the sun, the light just emanated from the actual, sun bright point out into the Grand Canyon in this one particular photo that I'm thinking of. It was just so smooth and beautiful and soft how that happened. It was unbelievable to me at the time. I actually tested it out in different situations. I was in a parking garage taking photos of the lights in the parking garage with this Leica, and it was amazing how the light sources were rendered. I don't have enough experience with the Z7 to say that it can't do what the Leica could do, but my initial tests on it are that it doesn't do it quite the same. So it would probably depend on my situation, but if I'm dealing with light sources and things like size and weight aren't a factor, I may be grabbing the Leica, but I'm really impressed with the autofocus on the Z7 for like video and continuous autofocus during video. So if I'm doing that, I'm grabbing the Nikon.
All right, thanks so much on that first one. So far, I'm doing terribly. I picked up a speed light and I don't know why, and I almost dropped it, which caused obviously great distraction. So I'm gonna try to do better on this next one. And this next one's a little more intense and it's a little more personal, but you're gonna get the chance to get me back in the member portion, I promise. Okay, we just compared two cameras. Now this next question is completely unfair and I'm gonna ask it anyway. And feel free to ask for some clarity on this one. I'm gonna start very simple. This one is SnapChick versus other YouTubers. What do you do that others don't? What do you wish you were doing? I'm trying to lead you a little bit here. What do you wish you were doing that you see some other YouTubers who talk about photography do? Go.
Ooh. Okay, disclaimer, I don't watch a lot of other photography YouTubers. So I have seen some stuff. I've seen like thumbnails along the side of videos, but yeah, that's my disclosure. I don't know exactly what everybody else is doing. However, I would say that from the few videos that I have watched, I would say that my difference is that I'm more practical in my approach. I'm less dramatic in how I handle reviews and stuff like that. I'm also more intentional. I shouldn't say more intentional. People, they do what they intend to do, but I take more time with my reviews. I'm not the first one out with a review of any gear, as even if I got it at the same time as somebody else. I take longer. I'm a little more, I want to make sure that I truly understand the ins and outs of something before I go and say, oh, this doesn't work, or that doesn't work, or this is the best, or anything like that. So I would say that's probably the biggest difference. I'm just more even-keeled with that kind of stuff and more, I don't know, level-headed, intentional, something like that. But what others are doing that what was the other part? What's other people are doing that I wish that I were doing?
Yeah, a couple thoughts first on what you said so far. I see you in the field more than I see other people in the field. I watch a lot more YouTube videos than you do. So I see you in the field a lot more. I see you being more even-keeled. And before we get to that next question, does it ever frustrate you at all that in terms of attention and sometimes popularity, does negativity seems to win the day? When there's a small feature or problem with a newly announced camera, and we saw that recently, we won't go into all the details on that, but on a few different cameras, do you find it frustrating that negativity seems to sometimes win the day?
Yes.
Yes. I think that one was probably, self.
That's pretty much it. I don't like it when people are all aghast and very dramatic about something that, look, guys, these are cameras. These are tools. Yes, I get excited about them. Yes, I can get disappointed if this or that doesn't meet my expectations, but I'm not going to put on a big show of being dumbfounded or amazed or disgusted with a camera, because it's a camera. So yes, it does. It truly annoys me just on a personal level. It annoys me. And that's probably part of the reason why I don't watch a lot of the other YouTubers. It's just because I see that in a lot of the videos that I've been through.
I tried to watch a review recently and genuinely to learn about the camera that was being reviewed. I'm not going to name the camera or the reviewer. The person's very experienced with a lot of different cameras and could pick up any camera in the world, even a camera not invented yet, and be an expert on it in about a second. And the reviewer intentionally acted very confused about subtle, obvious things about the controls, which made it entertaining, but they know better than that. And we know better than that. And I was kind of embarrassed watching it. It's a very popular video with lots of views, but that person seems to be very confused a lot. Anyway, okay, so let's get to the second part of that question. Let me make sure I get it right here. What are some of those things that those other YouTubers are doing from your limited viewing of them that you wish you were doing more of?
Well, I do see other YouTubers that are both photography and not photography themes. When they get to go to like brand stuff, like I saw there was a Canon event recently, or there's these Sony events, like, man, I wish I could do some of those. That would be really fun. But, I haven't been invited. So I guess that's one thing that I would like to do more of. I mean, I did do that event with B&H when the D850 came out. I was on that live stream panel and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Now, I haven't been invited back, possibly because I'm too honest, but not that the D850 isn't a great camera. It is. Nobody get mad at me. But yeah, I guess that would be the only thing that I've seen others do that I would like to do. I think that more than trying to be like the other folks, I'm trying to be different from them in that, what you mentioned, me going out into the field and stuff like that. I feel like I've gotten more like everybody, and that I'm doing a ton of gear reviews because people are sending me stuff, and that's awesome. I love receiving stuff and getting to share it with everybody, but I would prefer to set myself apart by going out and sharing my art rather than always how I do my art through gear reviews and stuff like that.
And I watch those videos where they do those kind of contrived events, not secretly contrived, obviously contrived events. And I don't see a lot of women there. And some of those people who I do see there have been very negative about the various brands. I've seen you be very positive. You were mostly positive on the D850 panel. You accurately pointed out that Nikon has a legacy of problems with video autofocus, and maybe that made them unhappy, but it's just true compared to the SL2 that I'm filming with now, and now the Z7 that you're filming with over there. And yeah, I feel like I'm going to come out and say it. I feel like you're getting the short end of the stick, but I also know that you're not one to let that get you down. You might think that it's unfortunate, but then I just see you continuing on video after video. So, okay, everybody, that's the first two questions for everybody. Now we're going to head over to the member video, YouTube channel member video, VIP patron video to see the next three questions. And in this next one, I'm going to have her turn it around on me. So if you're a member, tune on in, see the rest. And if you're interested in joining, here's an important announcement about that.
To see Raymond's weekly show for members in its entirety, click the join button below. If you don't see a join button, there's a link in the description. Then you'll see all of the member exclusive content in the community tab.